Hello there and welcome to English 101. I'm looking forward to getting together with you this summer for a pretty intensive English 101, which is an introduction to college reading and writing. And in the title of that class, you do hear college reading, of course, writing, but you don't hear critical thinking. And one of the things that I think it's often surprising for students to discover is that without the reading, there really can't be any critical thinking of merit in a college class because the reading is where the source of your evidence, and you have to support everything you claim in and everything you argue against with evidence and evidence from reliable sources. So part of what we're going to be doing this summer in a very brief, very intensive class where there will be a lot of reading is learning how to evaluate sources, whether or not they're trustworthy, whether or not they will provide the kind of information that will allow you to posit a valid theory and support it and explore opposition to those theories or that theory, and to demonstrate the validity of your evidence that you've found in contrast to the evidence offered as opposition. So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about my experience last semester where I had set readings, and I couldn't understand why one student kept writing so far off the mark of what the readings had been about. And so I sat down with the student and I said, where are you getting this evidence from this assigned reading, from this article? And the student said, oh, I didn't read the article. I read a summary of it that I found online. And the summary, of course, was entirely inaccurate. It had not been written by the author. It hadn't been the author's condensation of his evidence and his ideas. I think the summary may have been created by ChatGPT, which was 3.5 at that point. And it was inaccurate. So the essay was inaccurate because the evidence was half hallucination. Anyway, I thought about the fact that this very smart student had decided not to read the assigned reading, and I wondered if it had to do with simply being overwhelmed by the amount of work in college classes, along with, of course, this student was from Lebanon, and the student had friends in Hezbollah, and the events in Gaza were just unfolding, and the student was preoccupied. However, one of the things we talk about in college is this sense that students don't necessarily feel that they belong here. And you've heard of this, it's called imposter syndrome. And I admit this is in American colleges. The amount of reading in universities is immense. The expectations are immense. If we skip the readings and go into a classroom and try to pretend that we know what we're talking about, or if we just scan them and try to fake our way through a classroom discussion, or if we revert to using artificial intelligence because we didn't have time, we will definitely feel like imposters, even though we have authentic and committed reasons for being in college. So one of the things I want to say right now is don't skip the readings. Don't try to gain a sense of belonging without adopting the tactics that will enable you to feel confident, to feel authentic, to feel aware of the materials in your class. And the second thing I wanted to suggest is a little bit intrusive, but I'm going to suggest that you take only 12 units when you start full-time. Maximum 12 units, because it's very hard to keep up with the type of work, the type of scrupulous, attentive reading and engagement when you go over that base. I think that's all I want to tell you right now. I'm looking forward to meeting you, and I'm looking forward to reading with you. All right, see you soon. I did remember one more thing, and that is that in my current class right now, we're just coming up to finals in spring. I have a former professional skateboarder, and what I like about this guy, I like everything about him, of course. He's a great student, but he's an older student. But he did say that he thinks that having relied on his body, having had to know that he could do the tricks every time he went for a competition, every time he went for a professional like show off session, I don't know what they're called, an exhibition maybe. He knew that he was ready, or he knew that he wasn't ready. And this was similar for me when I was a competitive swimmer. You can't pretend that you have done enough practice to swim fast. You don't jump into the pool and hope that people will think you're swimming fast. You're either swimming fast or you're not. It's the same with skateboarding. You're either executing those tricks successfully or you're not. And I think that's a nice foundation for thinking about how to go into your classrooms, how to go into your academic work. It's like you've either done the reading or you haven't. And if you haven't done the reading, make a plan to get it done before you try to do the trick of thinking critically with evidence or writing a persuasive piece. That was my last bit.